All right, hello everyone. Happy Thursday afternoon or slash evening whenever you're watching this. Here is your latest update on Tropical Storm Debby and how it's going to interact and give us some pretty significant weather conditions tomorrow morning through the evening hours, including the threat for very heavy rainfall and even a tornado risk. So, taking a look at the current satellite imagery across much of the eastern United States. This is looking at the visible color plus the radar on top. So we can see how Debby made its second landfall in the Carolinas earlier today. Its low pressure center probably somewhere around here. And Debby is slowly making its way up north. And you can see how we already have pretty strong bands of rain beginning to build north of the low pressure center, and those bands of rain will be coming to our state in as little as 12 hours or less. So Debby is going to make a lot of progress speed to the north as it begins to interact with the jet stream. So as we know, Debby was pretty much stalled across the southeast coast over the last few days, but now that it's going to get more of a steering pattern, we're going to see Debby get kicked out into the northeast and then vanish forever. So this is what Debby's doing now, and again, slowly making its way northward. The latest National Hurricane Center cone does have Debby's center go through the state of Pennsylvania, as you guys expected. So again, going through more like central PA, but again, this is just to show you where the center of Debby can go. This cone is not used for impacts. Again, impacts will occur well outside of this cone. And as we get into hurricane season, keep that in mind. Sometimes impacts can occur thousands of miles outside of the cone. So just when you see cones for the rest of the hurricane season, that's just where the center of the storm is going to go, not the impacts. So again, center of the storm will be a depression as it goes through central and then northeastern PA tomorrow, and then just shooting off to the northeast as it interacts with that jet stream, and then we can say goodbye to Debby forever. So let's time out the rain. So this is the latest high resolution model that just came out, fresh for this video. Time, I'm going to circle it's in the top left corner right here. That is the time in Eastern time. And then if you know Zulu time, we're going to have the time up here as well in Zulu time. But anyways, for those who don't know Zulu time, the time is up on the top left corner. So let's check it out. So today, not much really going on, just a few showers, maybe a scattered thunderstorm in western PA. But as we move into the overnight hours, by 10 o'clock, we already have the outer rain bands of Debby beginning to make its way into central PA. So most of you will probably be getting a nice rain to fall asleep to. It's going to be pretty nice. But as we head into the overnight hours, we're going to get these even heavier rain bands begin to make their way into the state. So by 3 a.m. overnight, and there's even some that could have probably even some thunderstorms denoted by these orange and red colors. And this has a little bit of my attention because, as I've explained in yesterday's video, tropical cyclones are notorious for producing tornadoes. And this is because when the tropical cyclone is over the ocean, it's vertically stacked, has strong winds from the surface all the way up to the tropopause. But when it makes landfall, a tropical cyclone loses the wind at the surface because of friction. So you can have weaker winds at the surface, let's say like 30 to 40 miles per hour, but still up above, it could be 60 to 90 plus miles per hour, for example. And that is called wind shear. And wind shear is a change of wind speed or direction with height. And that is what helps to create the threat for severe weather and even tornadoes. And especially with tropical cyclones, these are very formidable environments to produce weak tornadoes because there is copious amounts of wind shear with tropical cyclones, but not too much greater instability that's needed for outbreaks. But that strong wind shear will help to create the threat for spin-up tornadoes late overnight tonight into tomorrow afternoon. And with that, again, just keep in mind of these cells throughout the night, especially if you live in South Central PA, they could potentially rotate. And then as we move into the morning commute hours, very heavy rainfall across much of Central PA. And again, any of these stronger cells, they can feel the wind shear they could potentially rotate, and I would not be surprised to see a few tornado warnings by the time the morning commute rolls around tomorrow morning. But unfortunately for Western PA and Eastern PA, look how there's just sharp edges in this precipitation shield. So again, these areas, small shifts west or east. If you're on this line, you could go from nothing to a lot of rain. Same thing on the eastern side of the state. Could go from nothing to a lot of rain very easily. But the track is starting to get a little bit more fine-tuned now. So about 8 a.m. again, heavy rain falling across much of central PA. And then as we head into the later morning hours into the early afternoon to lunch hour, you can see very heavy batch of rain falling now, moving through most of north central PA. And again, these red-orange colors, these can indicate the threat again for potential rotating storms. Rotating, they don't even have to be storms, they could be showers, just because we're going to have an insane amount of wind shear. Really, any of these can quickly rotate and potentially put down a weak tornado. And this threat will really increase as we move into the mid-afternoon hours, where we're going to get more of the squall line to develop, because as Debby transitions from tropical to extratropical, we're going to get this cold front to develop, and this will also help to increase the risk for tornadoes and even damaging wind gusts, particularly across much of eastern PA during the mid-afternoon hours. But again, due to this really high amounts of wind shear, again, really we can have kinks all along this line producing tornadoes potentially tomorrow. That's not out of the question. But then as we head into the evening hours, into dinner time, Debby is gone. Even much of western and central PA, in time for sunset tomorrow, we could have blue skies and could make for a nice sunset. But eastern PA could still have a few lingering showers, but Debby is going to be coming in quick and also moving out quick. And unfortunately, just because it's moving out quick and moving in quick doesn't mean rainfall amounts will be reduced. We're starting to get the same amounts of rainfall, but just happening in a quicker time frame, which is going to make the situation a lot more worse, in my opinion, with the heavy rainfall amounts. So then, again, the moves out, and we'll have a pretty good weekend, but there will be a threat for some showers, especially across western PA, both Saturday and Sunday. So wind shear, let's see how much really wind shear we're going to be talking about. So what I'm putting out right now is the helicity, which is basically measuring how much spin there is in the atmosphere. So this is between 0 to 3,000 meters above the ground. This is basically your low-level wind shear. Typically, values above 200 pretty much are indicative of pretty good amount of twisting in that part of the atmosphere, which could lead to tornadoes and rotating updrafts. And as you can see here, during the middle of the night hours, lots of wind shear. We're going to have a lot of wind shear, a lot of twisting motion. So again, any strong shower or even a weak thunderstorm can quickly rotate. And then as we move into the morning hours, same thing again. Any strong shower that can feel this wind shear is going to rotate. And then as we head into the early afternoon hours, again, much of eastern, we're going to see values up into the 600, 700, even 800 plus range. That is just off the scale in terms of when we're talking about wind shear and amount of spin in the atmosphere. So again, any stronger shower, or even thunderstorms, if we get any, will have the potential to put down a potential weak tornado or several weak tornadoes. We're not talking about a strong tornado outbreak tomorrow, but again, any of these stronger storms could put down a few weak tornadoes at a time. And then as we move into the evening, again, we're going to see those conditions go away. Another product I like to look at is a significant tornado parameter. This really also helps to show you where the best potentially tornadoes are, potentially even significant tornadoes. We won't be seeing significant tornadoes tomorrow. Maybe there's a very low, slim chance that one can be significant, but mostly weak tornadoes tomorrow. And that'll be the threat across eastern PA when it really ramps up with that squall line again. Best threat for tornadoes, again, in the early afternoon hours will be across predominantly eastern PA. But again, late tonight into tomorrow morning, some of those tornado conditions could linger into portions of even central PA. So be on the lookout. Make sure you have a way to receive severe weather alerts, especially overnight. Have emergency alerts on for your phone in case you get alerted by a tornado warning overnight. You have to wake up and take tornado shelter. please take those precautions because it's possible we could have several weak tornadoes touch down between tonight through tomorrow afternoon across much of central and eastern PA. So that is all on the severe weather risk. And then what a lot of people haven't been talking about, including myself, is the potential for higher wind gusts as Debby passes through. So by tomorrow morning into the early afternoon hours, much of central and eastern PA, we could be talking about wind gusts in the 30 to 40 plus mile per hour range. This is outside of any thunderstorm or any shower, so this is just normal wind gusts that we'll be seeing tomorrow. So very strong winds will be expected across much of central and eastern PA. Again, gusts 30 to 40 plus miles per hour are a good shot. So this could help to topple off trees, especially with saturated soils. It really won't take much to get those trees to topple over, and then that could just accelerate the risk of damage and all that fun stuff. So yeah, keep in mind the winds tomorrow, and then after Debby moves out, we'll still see gusts on the backs of potentially 10 to 20 miles per hour, but again, nothing what's going to be like during the morning and early afternoon hours. So that is all I want to talk about, I think, in terms of the forecast models. Let's jump to some of the flood forecasts. So this is my latest rainfall forecast that I put together. So I believe that we're going to see this bullseye of 3 to 6 inches across much of central into northeastern PA. And I did note that some areas could see isolated amounts of 5 to 7 inches. This will be from mesoscale banding. So if you get under a heavier shower or storm for a longer period of time, you could see some more higher rainfall amounts. And then general for the rest of the state, 1 to 3 inches of rain is expected. Again, most of this will be falling in as much as 6 to 8 hours. So this is going to be very, very quick, heavy rainfall. You're going to lead to flooding in creeks, small rivers, low-lying areas, especially flood-prone areas. We'll see flooding for sure tomorrow. But across western PA, again, very tight gradient from an inch of rain to almost nothing. Small shifts in the track could still bring this up or down, but I feel like this is pretty good of a forecast now. So unfortunately, western PA will not be getting into these heavy rains, and then eastern PA expect also 1 to 3 inches with maybe isolated spots up to 3 to 6 inches. So overall, a lot of areas will be getting the heavy rain tomorrow. So again, if you're in that flood-prone zone, please prepare this evening. Get you ready before the flooding rains hit, because once it hits tomorrow, it's going to be quick, and you just need to be prepared for that. And then this is just the weather prediction center rainfall forecast. Basically, the same thing with my forecast. Again, the heaviest rain across much of central PA, with those cutoffs on the western and eastern side of the state. That again could still shift maybe 10 to 20 miles either way, depending on the final track that Debby decides to take. And we also do have that rare moderate level 3 out of 5 risk for much of the central and eastern portion of the state for the risk of flash flooding tomorrow. This is not a risk that is commonly issued, especially for our region. So if you're in this red, and even if you're in this yellow, which is a level 2 out of 4, and then the margin level 1 out of 4 flood risk, again, numerous flash flooding events will take place tomorrow. And if we see that upgrade to the level 4 out of 4 high risk, which is still not out of the question in my opinion, flash flooding will almost be guaranteed from many locations tomorrow. Just again, keep that in mind. And if you're out traveling tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning, expect if you see a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown. Only 12 inches of water can move your vehicle, and you never know how deep the water is, because it's possible that you see this flooded water on the roadway, but there could be a ditch that this water is hiding, and you could drive through it, and you're like, oh, it's only like a few inches deep, and it's actually in fact a few feet deep, and your vehicle gets washed away, and then your life's in danger. And unfortunately, a lot of casualties from flooding happen because of that, because people drive through, they're like, oh, it might be only like an inch or two deep, but it's a few feet deep. There's a whole like erosion going on that eroded the road that you couldn't see, and then who knows what happens after then. Some people don't survive. So again, turn around, don't drown will be the main message tomorrow. And again, be on alert for the threat for tornadoes. Again, As I mentioned, across central and eastern PA, any strong shower, any thunderstorm can easily rotate. We'll probably see a lot of rotation on radar tomorrow. So there could be tornado warnings, so take tornado warnings seriously, but expect just several potentially weak tornadoes touching down across the state again tomorrow morning through the early afternoon hours. So I think that's all I have for today's video. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment down on the YouTube channel down there in the comments. Private message me on Facebook at PA Weather Plus. I'll try to get to as much questions as possible. But again, we're really into the final stages of tracking Debby, and then once Debby's out tomorrow evening, we have a pretty solid quiet stretch coming up. But there are more tropical threats down the line, and I'll have another video on that potentially earlier this weekend. So, quiet stretch will come after Debby, but who knows how long this quiet stretch will last. But with an active hurricane season expected, we'll probably see a lot more tropical systems moving through. I mean, we already had Beryl in mid-July, which brought, again, that severe weather risk and flooding for some areas, and now Debby. So it's not surprising if we'll see several more remnant systems bring the same threats as we head into about half of August, September, even October. So again, that's all I have right now. Thank you for joining me. Feel free to hit the subscribe button here on the YouTube channel. I'll do more YouTube videos, probably upgrade my gear, get a new mic webcam to make these a little bit higher quality. Make sure to follow PA Weather Plus on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter for more updates on there as well. And again, please reach out with any questions. I'll try to get to as much questions as I can. So yeah, stay tuned, stay safe, and again, remember, turn around, don't drown tomorrow.